take it back, no. I've got so much left to say, but I'll take the words and walk away.
Hey, what's up guys? Yuga here, and we're finally in battle for Azerite. Well, it basically started last week when the raid came out and everything else came out. So I've been a little bit down low. I actually pretty recently came back to my Boomkin because for some reason I wanted to try something new this expansion, but I just miss it too much. I miss my Boomkin way too much. So I'm back at it. I'm very happy about, you know, sticking with my Boomkin. It's my favorite class, so why change something you like? Anyway, we're gonna go over our talents, we're gonna go over Azerite, gonna go over rotation, and our weak auras, and add-ons, and everything. Nice and tips and tricks for you to perform a little bit better. I will make more in-depth guides later on for a specific purpose like Mythic Plus or certain raid encounters if you're having trouble. It's gonna be a fairly easy guide, stuff that can help you out. So we're gonna start over with the talents. Alright, I like to keep this basic. I like to be in game making my own guides like this. I don't need to, you know, crazy editing stuff and like fire explosion. I can do it, but you know. Anyway, level 15. So so this talent tree, the best one really is Force of Nature. It's the strongest cooldown on single target, and it's very good in Mythic Plus. It helps the tank, helps the healer, it taunts everything around you, and generates 20 astral power, and does very good amount of damage. So use it on cooldown, obviously, unless for some reason you need to save it in a Mythic Plus. Warrior Balloon isn't that bad. It really isn't, but Force of Nature is just better for single target, so generally take this. Nature's Balance, even though you probably want to take it, even though it's a passive, it's not that very strong, really. Level 30. 30 doesn't matter really, it's what you prefer. I like Wild Charge, it's helped me a lot. You gotta disengage, in moving form, you can travel forward in your travel form, so pick what you want. 45. 45 actually matters. Feral Affinity isn't that great, you know, the movement speed is obviously nice to have, but it doesn't really bring any more purpose to that. Guardian Affinity obviously great because the damage reduction of 6%, and you can also tank, you know, yeah, if you really need to. Frenzy Regeneration is obviously really good. I'm rocking Restoration Affinity right now. Shadow's Gift is pretty decent, but having Swiftmend and Wild Growth is really good in 5 months. The Swiftmend does a fair amount of healing. It almost hit for 30k, it's pretty good, and Wild Growth is nice, you know, behind pulls and stuff. Pop a Wild Growth, help the healer. I mean, it's free healing and it doesn't cost you really much. Level 60, same, here goes, you can take whatever you want. I recommend either Mighty Bash or Typhoon. Most of the time I'm rocking Typhoon. Typhoon is just great, especially on Sanguine weeks, you can knock them out of stuff. Yeah, Mass Entanglement, not so very much since the loss of Cephas. Level 45, we got Incarnation, Starlord, and Soul of the Forest. Soul of the Forest is not good. Not really good. Not really strong at all. Starlord, however, is pretty good. It's actually really good. Most of the people are taking Incarnation, Shows of the Balloon. So I prefer you taking this one. You can obviously go for Starlord as well. It's not terrible. Give me just 1 second. Alright. So, yes, level 90 then. Level 90, most of the time, pretty much you're gonna take Twin Moons. Twin Moons is the pretty much the best one. Stellar Flare does seem higher on single target, but when it comes to one more add or anything, it's really close as well on single target. Twin Moons is the passive, it is better in that way, since Stellar Flare has a casting time, and yeah, just recommend taking Twin Moons. Stellar Drift is not usable at all, pretty much. It's Starfall is very weak at the moment, so Stellar Drift doesn't give you that niche. As for 11-100, pretty much these two. New Moon isn't that good. I'm sorry to say, it's doesn't do amount. Fury Balloon is really good for 3 or more targets, especially if they're stacked. Preferably if they're stacked. Mostly the talent to pick in Mythic Plus. Shooting Stars is the single target. Yes, it's single target now. It's very strong in single target and does the best, basically. So, let's go over Azerite. As for Azerite, I don't have the best Azerite right now, but I have 2 of the very strong ones. So, Streaking Stars, yes, Streaking Stars is the best trait you can get for your Battles Druid. It's pretty much what makes us viable in single target, I would say, you know. You're still viable without it, but it's just so strong. And the second one would be Thunderous Blast, which I don't have. And Laser Matrix is really strong too. Dagger in the bag, you know. What I recommend actually doing is go into bloodmallet.com. It gives a spreadsheet on which trait is the best as for tier 3 and tier 2 and cleave and yeah. Streaking Stars definitely is a very strong Azerite trait and you should aim to get this before you get nerfs. But let's check out the core rotation. So obviously you have your Astral Power and you have your dots and you have your spenders. So we start a fight by, before pull timer, you cast 2 Soul of Wrath. You apply both of your dots, spend Soul of Wrath till you get 40 Astral Power. Now when we're at 40 Astral Power, you want to pop Incarnation with all your damage and pop Starfall and just go through. Apply your dots, use Star Search, don't overcap your empowerments, this is very important. If, say, we are at this case, don't use a Lunar Strike, use a Soul of Wrath. If you're at 40 or more, don't use Star Search. Use your empowerments first. Obviously, with the new passive Eclipse, which gives you a chance to proc a empowerment depending on what spell you're using, there comes times when you will overlap, you know, will probably lose a empowerment. That's fine. It's RNG, you cannot do anything about it. But if you can, use your empowerments first. Use the ones, the most empowerments. It's basically the best. What's that buff I have? Alright, well that's good. Yeah. So keep in mind your empowerments, always keep your dots up rolling. I have a weak aura right here. It's Saya's weak aura is very good. And I've done some tweaks to it so I can see my empowerments down here. Yeah. Now Streaking Star. We're going to talk a little bit more on the Streaking Star rotation and how it works. Let's just look at the tooltip. While Celestial Alignment or Incarnation is active, your damaging spells cause a Streaking Star. It has no animation, dealing additional damage when they are not repeated of the previous ability. So, let's say I am in Incarnation right now, and what we will have to do is you want to use, like, obviously your empowerments and Star Search, but you don't want to spam like this, because if you do like this, it will not become a Streaking Star. So, Solar Wrath and a Lunar Strike, for example, use a Sunfire, use a Star Surge, use a Moonfire, go to Lunar Strike. You don't want to repeat any spell, basically. So if you're at 80 Astral Power, you don't want to use 2 Star Surges, for example. And this goes for every damaging ability. So you can do a Star Surge, a Force of Nature, a Sunfire, a Loon, a Moonfire, a Star, you know, keep it. So every damaging ability will proc a Streaking Star. If you do this correctly, can take some time to practice if you're new to the ability, you would do pretty good single target burst. Yeah. As for add-on wise, as you can see, the nameplate here is my LUI. I can link, my LUI is actually up on wago.io. I'm not sure if it's really updated, but Anyway, this is LUI most of the things. The buffs right here, it's fly plates. No, what is it called? Let's check it out. It's called, yeah, fly plate buffs. It just allows me to adjust the buffs and I can see them a bit better. And this weak aura, as I said, Sire's weak aura is very good. I think that's pretty much important stuff you can have. Weak aura helps you a lot. Keep track of the dots, obviously something you need to do. We didn't actually go over the AoE rotation. AoE rotation is pretty simple. You obviously want to have stuff dotted up all the time. Starfall is obviously something you want to place down when you can. And you spam Lunar Strike if people 3 or more mobs are stacked. And if you get empowerment buff, like I did there, use it and explode. Boom. You play Starfall and keep applying dots. Pretty simple, but there's a lot of stuff to think about, but after some practice, get stuff done. So we're going over the talents, and talents in Uldir, you're basically gonna run this setup most of the time, unless in Mythic when you need to change. We haven't gotten into Mythic yet. And that's for, no, not Fury of Elune, obviously. Shooting Stars in Uldir. Yeah, sorry. But as for Mythic, pretty much swap the Fury of Elune. I'm using Fury of Elune. It does pretty good damage. Yeah. So how are our Boomkins right now? Well, I mean, we're not the best, but we're definitely not the worst. We're actually good. You know, Boomies, even though you're looking at the Simcraft, you see Boomies on the bottom. Don't look into that, alright? Balance Druid are used right now in progression in Mythic for World First. So, I mean, if you don't believe me that we're good, you ask Method or something, because we are good. So, it's been a short guide on how to perform a little bit better, a little bit on talents. I really hope to get some feedback. If there's something that I missed, I gladly make another video about it. We're gonna look in stuff a lot in the future when if stuff change or Azerite get buffed or nerfed, and I'm gonna help you guys on more difficult encounters in Uldir and as well as Mythic Plus. So, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you. Bye bye.